Good afternoon, and welcome to my laboratory. Please keep the curtains shut so that the sunlight does not come in. That way, it will be easier for you to kiss it where the sun don't shine.
One, two, three, four.
Hello and welcome again to another episode of A Very Oddcaster. And yes, boys and girls, Halloween is here. And we're all excited about that. I mean, candy, getting dressed up in goofy costumes. What's not to like, huh? I always loved Halloween. I don't dress up like I used to, but once in a while I do. And we're going to go right to a word from our make-believe sponsor to show you just how much I like getting dressed up.
Attention shoppers, welcome home! Outlet World's the place to roam!
Arby's, Daffy's, Auntie Anne.
Outlet World's the promised land.
Levi's, Fads, and London Fog.
Shop for him at Big Dog.
Black Room branded shoes.
Sam Goody has got the blues.
Casual male, big and tall.
Outlet World has got it all.
Close time, county seat.
Donna Coran and Esprit.
Perfume Mania.
Thanks for that.
At Outlet World, we've got the best.
Shade Tree, all tied up. Have a sub at Jerry's shop.
Get gas and oil to leave.
Outlet World's the place to be.
So books a million. Planet Fun.
At Outlet World, you'll get it done.
Outlet World located at I-475 in Paradise.
Yes, Halloween is here, but I must confess, as I've gotten older, there have been Halloweens where I've been feeling kind of crusty and like a grumpy old man. So yes, there's some times when I just can't deal with the trick-or-treaters. Now, I don't go as far as some people. You know, some of these people, you know they're home. You see the fat guy with the undershirt in there watching TV on the recliner. Little kids are ringing the doorbell. Oh, it's candy. And they don't even move, right? I've never gone to that degree, all right? I'm not that crusty of a dude. But yeah, there's just sometimes when I'm like, you know. And so my strategy was always to keep the candy out on the porch in sort of a self-serve type thing. And then when it's gone, well, the kids will just lose out, I guess. But yeah, so, you know, it's just one of those things. You're tired after a long day, and you just don't want to be standing there feeding kids. But that's not every year. Some years I'm really into it. And obviously, you know, the kids are cute in all their costumes and everything. And I know when I was a kid, it was my favorite day in the world. And that presents us with an opportunity to discuss another stupid-ass thing from my childhood. So yeah, you know, when I was little, and that was a long damn time ago, believe it or not, the world in many ways was in the same kind of place it is today, at least in terms of movies and TV and whatnot, because superheroes were huge then. The original superheroes. Well, not quite the original superheroes. I think like Superman, he was like early 1950s, and I was not even a twinkle in my mom's eye back then. I'm not sure she knew what a twinkle was at that point. But I was one of the first big Batman fans. And Batman was a huge show, the very first Batman. That Batman show was really kind of a spoof of the original comic strip. And of course, there's been many iterations of Batman through the years since then. But that original show, I loved it. I was just a little kid and I couldn't get enough of it. And so, my parents bought me all sorts of Batman paraphernalia. I got a Batman helmet, which was so big on me, it came like down to my belly. I got a Batman cape. I got the full tights and everything. Got a Batman ring. I got Batman gloves and all this stuff. I had little toy Batmobiles and whatnot. It was, it was a big deal for me. So of course, in the peak of all that, along came Halloween, and I was gonna get dressed up like Batman. And so my mom was, I guess, in the downstairs waiting to give kids candy as they came to the door and waiting for me to get dressed, and my dad was gonna take me out. And she was there with another mom from the neighborhood. And I decided to get a little experimental with my Batman costume. And so I got rid of the tights. I got rid of my underwear. And all I had were these Batman slippers, my Batman cape, my Batman helmet, and the rest of me was full frontal nude. Except I had this Batman ring. And where do you think I put that Batman ring? You got it! On my little pee-pee. So I came running down the stairs dressed like that, running around the living room, singing the Batman theme song. Batman. I've never seen two ladies laugh as hard as they did, which actually was an inspiration, because there's nothing more beautiful than a woman's laughter. And I said, you know what? I think being a fool might pay dividends someday. Sometimes it has. Sometimes it hasn't. But anyhow, that was me and my Batman ring. Another stupid-ass thing from my childhood. Well, Halloween is also an inspiration for some of the news stories we're going to be covering today. We're going to be focusing on the world of science, because science fiction and horror films and Halloween, it all kind of goes together very nicely. And so I was scanning the internet for news stories, appropriate news stories for this time of year, and there was a great story, very interesting story, on black widow spiders. So a lot of people can't deal with black widow spiders, or spiders of any kind for that matter. And yeah, I don't want them crawling all over me at night, but otherwise I'm good with them. As long as I got them in my sight, they can do whatever they want. But if I'm trying to get to sleep and I have the sensation that something's on me, yeah, I'm gonna poop my pants. So there's this story, and the headline says, "Why Black Widows Bite So Many Men on the Junk." A nice little dovetail from my Batman ring story to an article about why black widows bite men on their penises. So here we go. This story is written by Ross Pomeroy. Ross Pomeroy. Okay. I forget which publication this appeared in. So anyhow, you can find it. Black widow spiders get a bad rap. Some of it is earned. Their venom is 15 times stronger than a rattlesnake's. The thought of that is not pleasant. Some of it is due to appearance. Their shiny black exterior, coupled with a distinct red hourglass present on the underside of the female spider's abdomen screams danger. And some of it is just due to unfortunate happenstance. More on that in a minute. In actuality, black widows probably don't deserve the terrifying reputation they've garnered in the United States. Imagine the United States exaggerating something.
But I digress.
Yes, they have powerful venom which attacks the nervous system and can cause incredible pain for hours or even days. But it rarely kills. In fact, there's no record of anyone dying from a black widow bite dating back to 1983. And the vast majority of bites don't require medical attention. Was it 1983 when Charles in Charge was on TV? Moreover, black widows aren't especially aggressive, lashing out only when threatened or if their web is disturbed by an invader. In fact, the black widow is usually a pretty shy spider, reporter Lily Sullivan said on the recent episode of This American Life. Scientists have even done tests where they poke and prod her, trying to elicit a bite. And she turns to other defenses first, tries to run away, curls up into a little ball, no bigger than a quarter. Sometimes she throws silk at the danger to try to escape. The bite is her last resort. Are we going to turn the black widow spider into a victim here? Let's find out, shall we? So how is it that black widows have developed their frightening reputation? It may mostly be due to happenstance, particularly in regards to who they've historically bitten and where. In keeping with their name, black widows mostly bite men. It's a man's world, remember? Not because they bear any resentment towards them. Oh, yeah. But because men have historically been the ones to accidentally disturb their lairs. Now, if I were dyslexic, the word lair could be rewritten to say liar. But I digress again. Black widows typically sling their webs in dark places, basements, wood piles, garages, underneath decks, outhouses, areas men historically visit much more than women, as they tend to perform more outdoorsy, physically demanding work, like going into the outhouse. Could be physically demanding. Outhouses likely presented the most peril to men. As science reporter and former park ranger Kelsey Paget narrated on This American Life. Okay, Kelsey, let's see what Kelsey has to say. She says, black widow spiders enjoy dark, low to the ground sort of places. They especially love to make their cobwebs between two objects. Where are we going here? And so because bugs like stinky places, imagine flies. There's flies in outhouses. Then it makes a great food supply, right? Ugh. I think I'm going to cancel lunch. And to get to the stinky stuff, you've got to go through the bowl. So putting your web there is excellent. So that's the end of Kelsey Paget's take on the situation. Back to the writer. So imagine this. It's the 1950s. You're a dude. You need to go number 2. You make your way out to the outhouse. You sit down and your junk hangles there. Hangles or dangles? That must be a typo. Your junk doesn't hangle, it dangles. And if it doesn't dangle, well, you've got another problem, don't you? Okay, so you make your way to the outhouse, you sit down, your junk hangs there. And as it does, it hits the cobweb. And the usually non-aggressive black widow instinctively runs over and bites down on the new creature that has landed on its web. Now, if the theme song from Mr. Ed started being hummed right about then, what would that mean? Then it would be dangle, not hangle, I betcha. Statistics from decades ago support this cringe-inducing narrative. As Paget discovered in her literature research, the majority of serious bites were on penises. Now that indoor plumbing is the norm and cleaner porta potties have replaced unkempt outhouses, this painful scenario is now far rarer. But its specter still lends credence to common wisdom. Never go number 2 in an outdoor toilet unless absolutely necessary. Okay, so, very interesting. Come to think of it, I never do that in outhouses. I'll stand and do that, but I don't want to sit. And hell, I'll just like walk around the rest of the picnic like this, as opposed to sitting in one of those nasty outhouses. Now that I know that there may be a black widow spider waiting to take a bite out of me, makes it a little easier of a decision, doesn't it? Anyhow, very good article, particularly here on the brink of Halloween. More science fiction. This article says, are parallel universes physically real or just an unsupported idea? And we're not going to go through the whole article here. We'll read a little bit of it here under the key takeaways section. The writer, who I don't have here, but says, sparked by inventive fiction involving the multiverse, the idea of an infinite series of parallel universes offers us hope that somewhere there's a version of us that's living our ideal life. That's called wanting to have your cake and eat it too, isn't it? But I digress. But could these parallel universes be physically real? There are 2 ways to think about it that are physically well motivated. In the context of inflationary cosmology and quantum physics. I hope I sound like I know what I'm talking about, because I really don't. But I digress further. But do either of these physically rooted options offer the ultimate possibility? Alternate reality versions of you that simply made different decisions, leading to vastly different outcomes for your life. Sounds kind of Forrest Gumpish, doesn't it? You've likely imagined it before. Another universe out there just like this one, where all the random events and chances that brought about our reality exactly as it is played out just the same. In every way, every quantum event that had a set of possibilities as to which outcomes could have occurred have played out identically in that other universe to the one we inhabit today. Except, that is, until right now, when you made one fateful decision in this universe. You took an alternate path in that other universe. These 2 universes, which ran parallel to one another for so long, suddenly diverged. Perhaps our universe, with the version of events we're familiar with, isn't the only one out there. Perhaps there are other universes. Perhaps even with different versions of ourselves.
I was thinking of getting my hair cut.
Different versions of ourselves, different histories, and alternate outcomes from what we've experienced. This isn't merely fiction, although it plays an incredible role in a variety of fictional settings, but one of the most exciting possibilities brought about through theoretical physics. Well, it is definitely a cool concept, right? You know, the idea of parallel universes. However, there's already plenty of evidence that there are parallel universes. Because right here in the United States, we have California and we have Mississippi. What more proof do you want? Some weeks there's just more good stuff than others. And it's appropriate that on Halloween week there's so much good in the science stories. You know? Okay, so this next one I'm going to have to read like the legendary Boris Karloff in honor of Halloween. This says, lab-made COVID-19 hybrid sparks controversy. And here we go.
The hybrid consists of the Omicron's variant spike protein attached to the original virus. Boston University scientists have created a hybrid version of the coronavirus that causes COVID-19. Their experiment sparked controversy, with heated headlines claiming that the researchers made the virus more lethal, and university officials denouncing these claims as false and inaccurate. The new Omicron spike-carrying virus, built by attaching the spike protein from an Omicron version of the virus to the original SARS-CoV-2 virus, killed 80% of lab mice infected with it, making it more severe than the original Omicron variant, which didn't kill any infected mice. Yet the hybrid virus was still less deadly than the original Wuhan variant of the virus, which killed 100% of the lab mice that were infected.
More lab experiments, huh? Hey, maybe this time we can wipe out all of humanity. This last article is also a COVID-related article. Headline says, COVID survivors may smell the roses again. A decades-long quest pairs an e-nose with a brain implant. So this is sort of like they're developing like a bionic nose implant, and which they think will help COVID survivors who've lost their sense of smell get it back again. Really interesting stuff, especially if you're of a certain age and used to watch Steve Austin, Astronaut. A man barely alive. We can rebuild him. We have the technology. We can make him better than he was before. Better, stronger, faster, and able to smell stuff. So yeah, it's kind of a weird thing. That kind of leads us to a segment that once in a while we'll do, which is COVID guidelines, how they came about. And this COVID guideline we're going to look at is how it ever came to be that they recommended double masking as a protective measure. So I guess the theory is, 2 masks are better than 1, an extra layer of protection. But of course, it's never that simple. Here, let's take a look at what might have been the origins behind that particular guideline. 2 masks are better than 1, but why stop there? Maybe 5 masks. That's got to be better than 2, right? And what about 10 masks? That's better than 5. I mean, next thing you know, we're going to look like a Halloween costume. Scientists have also uncovered a never-seen-before sketch by the comedy group Skits from decades in the past. Here, take a look.
I'm having chest pains.
Now, in celebration of the only 2 movies that are not sequels, Skits presents Jason with Freddy Krueger Mellencamp.
Little ditty about Fred and Diane, 2 American kids growing up in dreamland. Freddie gonna be a movie star, doing lots of cheap, tacky horror films, rated R. Sucking on Diane's boobs outside the taste-free. Freddie takes his long, sharp knives and slashes Diane's knees. Freddie say, hey, Diane, let's run off behind the shady trees. Wiggle out those 501s and let me slash you where I please. Oh, yeah, see, life goes on long after your heart and your spleen are gone. Oh yeah, see, life goes on long after the thrill of killing is gone. I slash off. Freddie sits back, sharpens his blades for a moment, scratches his head. Ow, shit! Freddie say, hey, Diane, let's run off to the city. Diane said, I can't, Freddie. You done cut off my titty. Oh, yeah, see, life goes on long after your brain and your penis are gone. Oh yeah, say life goes on long after the thrill of killing is gone. I flash on here, Jason. Well, I think it would be nice if I could slash your body. I know not everybody has got a body like yours, baby.
Thomas Boyd, I love you, man. Now, if you'd like to send me an email, send it to veryoddcaster@gmail.com. That's veryoddcaster@gmail.com. Have a fantastic Halloween, everybody. We will see you next week when November arrives. Bingo. Blah.
California hit bone, Yelpy on the carbone, hypocritic, simulcast, anorectic with the back.